5 quantum-level spiritual tests every dark chosen one must endure. You're here because something in this title pierced through your illusions, and maybe, just maybe, you've known for a long time that you were never meant to walk the path of light alone. You've felt the night call to you, not the night of sleep, but the night of the soul. A place where the rules of ordinary life collapse and something ancient, something raw, begins to awaken in your bones. If you've always felt like you were being pulled towards something deeper, darker, and infinitely more powerful than the surface-level love and light teachings, then I want you to listen closely, because this might be the first time someone actually names the truth you've been carrying in silence. There is a breed of spiritual beings who aren't here to fit into the lightworker narrative. We're not here to simply spread peace, practice yoga, or share affirmations on social media. We are the dark chosen ones. We are the ones sent to dismantle, to destroy illusion, to walk into the void that others fear and command it. But before any of that power is unlocked, there are quantum-level tests we must pass. Not metaphorical, not symbolic, real spiritual crucibles that burn away everything false until the only thing left is who you truly are beneath the masks. And that process? It's brutal, it's sacred, it's necessary.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
The first test is the collapse of identity. This is when everything you thought you were begins to disintegrate. People call it ego death, but they don't tell you how violent it feels when it's real. You lose your sense of self. Your job, your relationships, your beliefs, your culture, your name. They all start to feel unreal. You look in the mirror and don't recognize yourself. You question your sanity. You feel like a ghost watching your own life fall apart. And here's the wild part. This is not a punishment. It's a cosmic initiation. The universe is stripping you of every label you've clung to, not because you're broken, but because your true self is too vast to be defined by human identity. This level of spiritual death is terrifying. You'll beg for clarity. You'll scream into the void. And the void will remain silent until you stop asking who you were and start listening to what you are now. So ask yourself this. If you are not your name, your career, your trauma, or your memories, then who are you? The second test is energetic isolation. You'll feel like the universe has locked you in a box. Your friends drift away. Your family doesn't understand you. Your guides go quiet. You can't feel spiritual connection like you used to. Meditation becomes empty. Synchronicities vanish. Even your body starts to feel like a cage. This isn't abandonment, it's calibration. When you are being prepared to hold quantum-level energy, your system has to reboot. Your enemy has to continue to evolve. Here is how it feels. There has to be prepared to be nurtured. The people around you can't match your frequency anymore because you're not even on the same wavelength as your former self. You're being pulled into spiritual solitude so you can hear the new frequency of your purpose. This test is lonely. It's maddening, but the silence is not empty. It's full of codes. The question is, can you be still long enough to receive them? And here's where things get even more intense. The third test is shadow embodiment. Not shadow work, embodiment. This is when your deepest, darkest traits rise to the surface, not to be healed, but to be owned. Rage, jealousy, lust, pride, manipulation, power lust, they all come up. And the spiritual community will tell you to purge them, to cleanse, to vibrate higher. But the truth? Those energies aren't evil, they are raw power. The universe is asking, can you hold your darkness without becoming it? Can you look your shadow in the eye and say, I see you, you are mine, and now I will choose how to use you? This is where most fall. They either deny the dark and become spiritually impotent, or they embrace the dark and lose their soul. But the chosen ones, we integrate. The goal is not to be good. The goal is to be whole. So let me ask, what parts of yourself have you buried because you were told they were unspiritual? The fourth test is energetic temptation. Once you start integrating your shadow, you unlock power, real power, charisma, magnetic force, the ability to influence people effortlessly, the ability to manipulate reality with your will. You begin to notice you can bend outcomes, shift timelines, read energy. And then the test begins. Will you use this power to serve yourself or to serve something higher? The universe doesn't test you by hiding your power, it tests you by giving it to you and watching what you'll do with it. This is the test that separates the pretenders from the architects of reality. Because when you realize you can get anything you want, will you still choose what is right? That's the level of spiritual sovereignty we're talking about. And trust me, no one can fake their way through this one. Now there's one more test, the fifth, and it's the most brutal, the most sacred, and the most misunderstood. But before we go there, I want you to breathe. You've already been through so much. Maybe you're in one of these tests right now, maybe all 5. But I need you to understand something. These aren't punishments. They are activations. The universe is not trying to destroy you, it's unmaking the version of you that was never real, so that the true you, the one forged in both shadow and light, can awaken. We are not here to become saints. We are here to become truth incarnate. And truth is not always bright. Sometimes it's dark, sometimes it's violent. Sometimes it destroys before it rebuilds, but it's always real. And in a world built on illusion, being real is the most radical act of power there is. This is just the beginning. The 5th test, facing the cosmic mirror that shows you your divine monstrosity. There is a moment on this path that no one warns you about. Not the gurus, not the books, not the healing circles. A moment where everything you thought made you spiritual, everything you thought made you good, is set on fire by something so vast and ancient that it shakes your soul to the core. This is the 5th test, the cosmic mirror. And it doesn't show you your angelic potential, your higher self, or your light. It shows you what you've refused to look at. It shows you your divine monstrosity. And if you are truly a dark chosen one, you will not just face this mirror, you will become it. You see, most people think awakening is about becoming better, more kind, more peaceful, more loving. But that's only the beginning. For dark chosen ones, awakening means becoming total. It means integrating the parts of yourself that terrify you, the predator, the destroyer, the manipulator, the version of you who would burn the entire world down just to feel something real. That version lives inside you, and the mirror shows you exactly how powerful, how dangerous, how godlike you truly are when you strip away all the filters. It's not about demons or devils. It's about seeing the part of you that could, in an instant, take over your life and bend it to your will if you let it. When you look into the cosmic mirror, you don't see a villain. You see a creator who has forgotten who they are. You see every time you gave your power away, every time you silenced your truth, every time you let others define your worth. And then you see the other side, the one who could reclaim it all, the one who could speak truth so sharp it slices through illusion, the one who could walk into any room and bend the atmosphere, the one who could become a living force of destiny itself. And you realize that your fear hasn't been about darkness, it's been about magnitude. You've been afraid of your own scale. But here's the danger. If you look into that mirror and you're not ready, you'll either run from it or become obsessed with it. You'll either try to destroy that part of yourself or you'll let it consume you, and both paths lead to ruin. This test isn't about choosing between light and dark. It's about standing in the center of both and realizing that you are the axis, the point of power, the wielder of the blade. The mirror doesn't lie. It doesn't flatter, it only reflects what you are when no one is watching, what you are when the masks fall away. Have you ever asked yourself what you'd do if there were no consequences? If you could move through the world unseen, unpunished, untouched? What would you create? What would you destroy? Who would you become? That question is the gateway to this test. Because the universe doesn't just want to give you power, it wants to see what you'll do when no one is watching. That's where your soul is revealed, not in your prayers, not in your rituals, but in your instinct. And when you pass this test, when you can look at your divine monstrosity and not flinch, not run, not bow, you unlock something that few ever touch. You become sovereign, unshakable. You are no longer controlled by fear, shame, guilt, or the need to be seen as good. You are not light. You are not dark. You are the void from which both emerge. You are the eye of the storm, the still point in the center of chaos. And from that place you can choose. Choose to create worlds, choose to rewrite timelines, choose to become the architect of your own myth. But it all begins with this brutal, sacred, quantum-level confrontation with the version of yourself that you've been hiding from, even in your deepest meditations. This is the death before the rebirth, the fall before the rise. And the ones who pass this, we don't come back the same. We come back free, becoming the storm, how a dark chosen one awakens their true purpose in a world that fears their power. After you've faced the cosmic mirror and stood in the presence of your divine monstrosity, something irreversible happens. You no longer fear yourself. And that's when the world begins to fear you. Not because you're dangerous in the way people assume, but because your very presence begins to shatter the illusions they've built their lives around. You're no longer a follower of someone else's truth. You're living as a sovereign force. You've become the storm, untethered, impossible to predict, and absolutely necessary. Because storms don't come to destroy what's sacred, they come to destroy what's false. And here's the thing no one tells you about purpose. It doesn't show up as a pretty vision or a 5-step plan. For the dark chosen ones, purpose reveals itself only after devastation, only after you've lost everything you thought defined you, only once you've been emptied of the need to please, to conform, to be liked. Purpose is what rises when you finally stop pretending to be small. It's the voice that speaks when you're no longer afraid to be misunderstood. It's not nice, it's not always kind, but it's real. And in a world addicted to masks, being real is the most revolutionary and terrifying thing you can be. You begin to realize that your presence alone activates people. You don't even have to speak. Just entering a space, your energy rearranges the room. They feel your depth, your silence, your intensity. And some will love you for it. Others will project their unhealed wounds onto you. They'll call you too much, too intense, too dark. But what they're really saying is, you make me feel what I've been avoiding. And that's the point. Dark chosen ones awaken people, not through comfort, but through confrontation. You mirror their suppressed rage, their hidden power, their buried truth. And that's why they either cling to you or run from you. But now comes the responsibility. Power without purpose is chaos, and you didn't come here to spiral in your shadows. You came to command them. You came to build, to lead, to create realities that don't yet exist. Your purpose isn't a job or a title. It's a frequency, a signature vibration that only you can carry. And the more aligned you are with your truth, the more that frequency broadcasts into the world. You begin to draw others who are encoded with similar destinies. Not followers, not fans, allies. Other architects of the new world, other stormbringers. And together, you don't just walk through fire, you become it. But here's the hard truth. You will have to walk alone first. The world is not built to support beings like us. It's designed to keep people asleep, afraid, obedient, and when you begin to move differently, when you stop reacting, when you stop needing validation, when you start speaking truth without softening it, people will turn on you. Friends will fall away. Your family might question your sanity. Even your body might rebel as your vibration shifts. But all of that is part of the clearing. The storm doesn't ask for permission to arrive. It comes when the old must die. And when you become the storm, you must accept that not everyone will survive your transformation. So, what do you do with this power? What does it actually look like to live your purpose as a dark chosen one? You create systems that don't require suppression to function. You speak in ways that liberate others from their own self-deception. You protect the truth, even when it's inconvenient. You walk into corrupted spaces and disrupt them, not out of ego, but out of alignment. You embody what others are afraid to imagine. You don't just meditate, you transmit. And the world begins to shift around you, not because you tried to change it, but because you changed yourself so radically that reality had no choice but to respond. That's what it means to become the storm, to no longer wait for permission, to no longer shrink to make others comfortable, to no longer dilute your essence to fit into a world that was never worthy of your full expression. Your mission is not to be accepted, it's to activate. And that means being willing to lose everything false in order to become everything real. So let me ask you something now, something only you can answer. If you knew the world would never fully understand you, would you still rise? Would you still speak? Would you still become the storm? The final shift, walking between worlds as a sovereign of shadow and light. There comes a moment after the identity collapse, after the silence, after the mirror, after the storm, where you no longer belong to the world you were born into. You don't fully belong to the light, and you certainly don't serve the dark. You walk between them, not in confusion, but in command. This is the final shift. It's not dramatic. It's not loud. It doesn't come with fireworks or applause. It comes in absolute stillness, a knowing, a presence. You become something ancient, something cosmic, a sovereign of shadow and light. You don't just understand duality anymore, you embody it. You've realized that peace isn't the absence of chaos, it's the ability to stand at the center of it, untouched. You've learned that love isn't always soft. It can be fierce, protective, even destructive when necessary. You've discovered that darkness isn't synonymous with evil. It's the unknown, the unintegrated, the raw potential. And light isn't always truth. It can be illusion, ego dressed in white robe. That's what makes you dangerous to the systems that rule this world, because you no longer worship polarity, you transcend it. And here's the secret few ever reach. When you stop choosing sides, you become the axis. You become the balance point between creation and destruction. And from that place, you no longer seek to escape the world, you reshape it. Every word you speak echoes across dimensions. Every choice you make ripples through timelines. You are no longer reacting from trauma or programming. You are responding from alignment. And that alignment is what creates new realities. But this final level demands something sacred of you, responsibility, not to the external world, but to your own frequency. You've been given power, not just the power to influence, but the power to embody truth in a world built on lies. That's not a metaphor, that's a cosmic assignment. And if you abuse it, even subtly, you'll feel it immediately. Your body will rebel. Your reality will distort. The universe does not punish, but it reflects. And when you are walking as a sovereign, every thought becomes a spell. Every step becomes a signature. Every silence becomes a message. So, how do you live now, knowing what you are? You move like a mystery. You speak only when the words are clean. You act when the timing is precise. You no longer explain yourself to those who haven't earned access to your truth. You don't seek validation from the masses. You listen to the silence and you trust it. You let your presence do what your ego used to try to force. You become inevitable. People will still project onto you. Some will idolize you. Others will demonize you. Let them. You are no longer here to be understood. You are here to be felt, to be known by those who are coded to recognize you. And those people, they will find you, not because you marketed yourself, but because your vibration is a lighthouse to the ones still trapped in the fog. When you walk as a sovereign, your life becomes a transmission. Your existence becomes a permission slip for others to remember their own power. This is the final shift. Not becoming someone, but unbecoming everything that was never real. And in that space, something extraordinary happens. You begin to live in two worlds at once, the physical and the energetic, the mundane and the mythic. You make tea in the morning while your spirit rewrites timelines. You walk through a city street while your aura collapses old paradigms. You are both human and more than human, both ordinary and divine. And maybe that's the greatest secret of all. You were never meant to choose between being light or shadow. You were meant to hold both, master both, and then rise beyond them. You were meant to become a living paradox, a walking impossibility, and in doing so, give others the courage to do the same. So I'll leave you with one final question. one that only you can answer, not with your mind, but with your life. Now that you've remembered what you are, what will you create with it? That's the real beginning.